Happy December 16th, my birthday, and welcome to MicroStrategy Today, the only daily show that's bringing you MicroStrategy's news, insights, intel, and genius 7 days a week. Today, we have a great show. We'll be talking more details about the QQQ inclusion. We're talking about Bitcoin hitting an all-time high overnight. Really exciting times there. We have some great tweets as well. I have a tweets that's coming up that's going to be sharing with you some details on some price predictions that are really interesting. I have some great video clips, one with Jack Mahler, who just goes on this great rant. And of course, Michael Saylor. I will never leave you without a Michael Saylor clip because I just love hearing those words coming out of his mouth. But remember, this is not financial advice. Please consult a financial advisor before making any decisions on your financial future. And let's dive into the show with the MicroStrategy tracker. The stock price obviously still $408. The market has not opened yet. We are still 100 out of 500 for the S&P 500 ranking. Bitcoin had a little drop from that all-time high. Really exciting 106 and change spike all-time high. Let's celebrate that. Retraced a little bit to about 103,662 right now. The Bitcoin balance is 423,650 Bitcoin. The average cost per Bitcoin is 60,000 and change. Corporate holdings, number 1 out of 60. That's never going to change, my friends. That is not going to change, in my opinion. MicroStrategy is too far ahead, has built a moat around itself. They will be number 1, in my opinion, for all time when it comes to this. The Bitcoin value per share is up to $183. Now, as I mentioned in the last video, another green dot is incoming, and we'll talk about this more in a minute, but exciting times. So more Bitcoin being added to MicroStrategy's balance sheets this week, today, actually. We'll know what that number is today, and we'll be reporting that to you shortly as well. And make sure you follow me on Twitter at MicroStrategy. So at MicroStrategy, I will repost that as soon as I see it. So we'll know the exact updated numbers over there. The NAV premium is at 2.23x, which is really cool stuff. I mean, that's a very healthy NAV in my opinion. The unrealized profit loss is 18 billion with a 71% return percentage. So exciting things. And again, the fact that we hit the all-time high is awesome. The fact that it retraced to 103 and change, no big deal. This is a natural retracement. Remember, volatility is a feature. It's not a bug. It is a feature, not a bug. So when we see volatility, just know that that is needed. When the all-time high happens, shorts get liquidated. When it retraces back, leverage longs get liquidated. It's a healthy thing to see the volatility. So just understand, nothing is going up and to the right only forever. That just does not happen. It is always going to be a volatile ride up there. Let's just keep a clear head, enjoy the ride, and make things happen. Let's talk about the catalyst for today. We are just 2 days away from the December Fed meeting, and this is a big one because it's we expect a certain thing, like we're expecting the 0.25 decrease. That's just what we're expecting. Who knows what's going to actually happen, but that is what a lot of people are predicting, so to speak. But once that's official, then you'll really start to see things move because now people can deploy large amounts of capital. Institutions can, funds can, because they will have certainty of what that looks like. And even though it's very much looking like that, until there's certainty, people are going to hold back capital, and that will suppress risk on assets like Bitcoin, like MicroStrategy, etc. So that's happening in 2 days. The QQQ inclusion's just 4 days away. So that 2.1 billion, give or take, is going to be implemented, reconstituted into MicroStrategy for that initial reconstitution. And then from that point, it's going to just be these passive flows that are coming in a very exciting way going forward. So we'll report to you when we have more accurate numbers, but that's just what a lot of people have been saying, that the numbers are going to be based on legitimate actual research. So it will be somewhere around there. So a couple great catalysts coming up. The first news article I wanted to share with you is that Bitcoin hit a new high. MicroStrategy popped on the NASDAQ 100 inclusion. And again, we did have a pullback, but we need to celebrate all-time highs. We really definitely do, because that just causes the media to report it because it's facts. The media gets to report fake news when not much is happening. They can report fake news and they can get those headlines out there. I mean, they're still going to do that no matter what, but at least in this case, they have to report facts. Fact. Bitcoin's at an all-time high. Like fact, MicroStrategy is trading up in the pre-market trading. So, I mean, these are things that we love to see that just gets out the truth to more of the mainstream consumers of this media. So that's why I do like to see articles like this, because they're forced to, just like this one as well. MicroStrategy shares jump as Bitcoin proxy will join NASDAQ 100 index and QQQ ETF. And then they just talk exactly about what's happening with that, getting the information out even more. I talk to financial advisors. I talk to CPAs. Like, they don't know this is happening, and this is like their job, to be their finger on the pulse. I mean, it's such a huge world that's out there, the financial world. I get that not everybody can know everything, but this is getting the message out, one message at a time. And that's what we're doing here on this show with MicroStrategy Today. So when you share this show, when you comment, when you like, when you subscribe, that helps the YouTube algorithm to get this show into more people's feeds. That's going to spread more MicroStrategy love. So thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let's go ahead and have Ben Workman share a tweet that I love, which is relentless execution of strategy. And of course, he's talking about Michael Saylor's tweet about, is Saylor Tracker missing a green dot? And another one's going to go right up there at the top, which is going to basically block out any blue, which we love, because that means more green dots, more Bitcoin buying, more Bitcoin value per share for you, for me, for shareholders. Bitcoin yield is going to increase. Everything is going to be right in our world. So love seeing this stuff. The next tweet that I want to share is from Chris. I've been really consuming a lot of Chris's stuff recently. He shares great resources and all that jazz. And he wrote, Bitcoin is the apex commodity. MicroStrategy is the apex equity. Do you understand? Now, I love this because I had somebody ask in the comments on my last video, should they buy Bitcoin or should they buy MicroStrategy? And my answer really is, well, consult a financial advisor, because I don't give financial advice directly. But what I would do is I would have a large position of Bitcoin, and then I would also have a large position of MicroStrategy, because I love both opportunities. Bitcoin is the apex commodity. MicroStrategy is the apex equity. That's what I should have responded, because people have to make their own decisions on their own investments because of where they're at in their life and so many other factors. And I do love that Michael Saylor in a uniform as an Army officer myself of 8 years. I love seeing that little image there of a nice salute, and I will salute you back, Michael Saylor. MicroStrategy, this is just grain of salt. Posted some overnight trading just to show you that it had spiked quite a bit overnight when Bitcoin was at the all-time high. It's since come down quite a bit since Bitcoin has also retraced. So you won't probably see this at opening. I would guess, who knows, but I would guess. But the reality is, it's just good to see this type of movement happening, because it's all bullish for MicroStrategy. This is one of the tweets I wanted to share that really gets into some details about the potential of what Michael Saylor might be planning for the remainder of the year. So in order for MicroStrategy to hit 500,000 Bitcoin by end of year, with just over 9 billion left on the ATM, assuming purchase price of Bitcoin increases, with 3 announcements left until end of year. So this is assuming a couple things. This is assuming, number one, that Michael Saylor wants to get to 500,000 Bitcoin, which is a reasonable assumption, because 500,000 is a very round number. It would make a lot of headlines. Michael Saylor loves headlines. So I can see this being a strong possibility that Michael Saylor is trying to game theory out. How do I get to 500,000 Bitcoin by the end of the year? So in order to do that, typically Michael Saylor makes an announcement every week. So there's essentially 3 possible announcements left, one of them being today. The first announcement would be for 25,450, as well as the second and the third. And then the cost would be 2.55, 2.67, and 2.8 respectively, if Bitcoin is at those levels, 100K, 105K, 110K. Now, again, those numbers are just projections. It may be 120K, it may be 95K. Who knows? If it's 95K, by the way, no worries. That's just more Bitcoin for Saylor, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for you and for me. So we don't worry about the volatility, because it's a feature, not a bug. So the total cost would be $8 billion, and the cash remaining from the ATM program would be $1.17 billion. Man, he is just ripping through that ATM. So impressive. Okay, let's talk about grain of salt. Just talking about, again, possibilities, potential that's forthcoming for us. He writes, MicroStrategy, QQQ inclusion announcement, check. Highest Bitcoin per share ratio, check. Political shift pro Bitcoin, check. Bitcoin difficulty and hash rate all-time high. And this is a huge number, by the way. A lot of people don't follow the difficulty and hash rates for Bitcoin. It's at an all-time high right now. And that has always been unbelievably positive and bullish for Bitcoin, which of course is unbelievably bullish for MicroStrategy. He wrote, did I miss any big points? Seems pretty bullish to me. 5 p.m. Pacific starts early trading. And then Charles did come in with a response that I wanted to talk about. He said, Grain, Fed cut on December 18th. Typically, we see the greatest impact the following week. Translation, the next 2 weeks for MicroStrategy and Bitcoin will be massive. Stay tuned. So this is what I mentioned briefly during the intro, but a lot of people are waiting to deploy capital until after the Fed announcement in 2 days. So things might be a little slower than expected. Things might be a little tampered down than expected. Although who knows, some people might start front running this announcement and then, sky's the limit. We just don't know. But the reality is until it's official, we won't be seeing massive deployment of capital. People want to see this official announcement by the Fed of the decrease in the rates. So it's probably going to happen in 2 days. Who knows until it happens? That's why people are waiting. But once that happens, Charles is saying, watch out for the following week, because that's really where things get pretty exciting. Now, I do have a couple great videos to end on because I love sharing with you some clips by some great minds in the space of Bitcoin and MicroStrategy. The first one's from Jack Mahler, who goes on a great rant. And then I wanted you to end today with just a great clip from Michael Saylor. So I dug up an absolute classic. So enjoy these clips.
So long way of arriving at, I don't think you're going to see a Mag 7 go 150% exposure to Bitcoin. And mind you, it's really important that there's a distinction there, because if Facebook or Microsoft or Google buys a little bit of Bitcoin, they're not going to win the shareholder base away from MicroStrategy, because MicroStrategy is selling a very unique product when it comes to their equity. They're selling you overexposed Bitcoin. If you really believe in Bitcoin, it's the product to own. So anyone that can over-lever themselves even more than Saylor would consider a competitor. Microsoft and Facebook, these guys can't compete with them. And I don't think Semler Scientific can compete with them either, because Semler Scientific is worth a 200th of what MicroStrategy is worth. So I really think Saylor is a genius in that respect. It's really difficult to replicate. Like when the public market talks about the NAV and the premium, I don't think people understand the escape velocity and how difficult it is to compete with the products he's selling. I think he's almost uncompetable. Like you cannot sell an equity that's as attractive to his shareholder base. So I don't know if we'll ever see another MicroStrategy in that sense and in that regard. I think that he's won the market as far as I can tell for now.
Faith ever gets shaken, especially during these very volatile periods where Bitcoin has had a steep sell-off?
No, in my entire career, I've never seen anything as compelling and unstoppable as Bitcoin. I'm extraordinarily enthusiastic. There are 8 billion people on the planet that need digital property, and Bitcoin is the dominant digital property network. So if you zoom out and you ask the question, how are you going to provide economic prosperity to billions of people at the speed of light over a computer network? There's no better idea than Bitcoin.
Well, there you have it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed my personal birthday episode of MicroStrategy Today. If you want for a birthday gift, I would love a subscribe. If you're not a subscriber right now, I would love a comment and I would love a like, and I will consider that the best birthday gift ever from you, my friends. I'm here delivering this every day. I delivered it on Saturday and Sunday, even though I was traveling. This week's going to be a great week of great videos of MicroStrategy Today, because there's going to be some great things coming out with the Fed rates and the QQQ Constitution. And then just everything that's coming up is so many exciting things that are coming. I hope you're having a great December. I truly do. But remember, none of this is financial advice. This is just news, intel, and updates of MicroStrategy. Some of my opinion, some of other people's opinion. It's just here to help you, to hopefully be something that you look forward to every day and enjoy. So if you do, I'm grateful for that. But consult a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. And as we love to say, remember, there is no second best.